welcome to. Oh, wow, I didn't even look at who I'm doing it with. It's Black Twitch League. We have what is it? Semis, quarters,
Quarterfinals.
It's the quarterfinals. Yeah, that would be a good way to describing it.
I was trying to figure out: is it quarterfinals? Is it semis? I should have asked it ahead of time before I did all this stuff.
It's all good. It's like we did a gauntlet system to determine who would be the fourth person. So it was like seed 6, 5, and 4.
Okay.
It was a gauntlet between those 3 seeds to see who would be the fourth person to make semis. So right now we have seed 5 versus seed 4 because yesterday seed 5 beat seed 6. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah. But we're going through picks and bans right now. Today, I am going to be your play-by-play caster and your producer. My name is Gygatron, and I'm going to be joined by Shibby here. Shibby, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's always a nice day to have no cams. I can chill in my hoodie like I was letting you guys know. And we're getting right into picking bans. Jack's being banned away from Maria's dungeon, feeding their top laner is pretty much a primarily Jack's player, if you look at his past seasons and just kind of what he's been playing throughout the tournament. Ezreal, Kiana, both solid bans. I like Mintheys picking up the illusion. It's going to force Maria's dungeon to either go into the Nami pick, like we're going to see right now, and possibly MF, most likely, is the other kind of ADC that you see traded. You could also go Aphelios to play that scaling game, but Lucian in of itself is just a very strong ADC, and you don't have to necessarily pair him up with Nami. You can go Lucian, you can go Lulu, you can go, other enchanters, and really, enchanters are really the flavor of the month right now.
Oh yeah, I know. Believe me, as much as I love tanks, it seems like enchanters are popping up. Like we've seen even Zyra more in like some leagues, which is crazy to think about because I don't think she's really in a good spot. But she pops up as someone who can CC well with a lot of poke and is great. But this is why it's a good matchup for the Nami. Is you have a great poker with the MF here.
Yeah, MF has just been that champion right now that we've been seeing in the worlds, in groups, and semis, and quarters. Like it's really popular because, in my opinion, it's a very easy to execute champion, right? You pair him up with a Jarvan, you pair him up with somebody else that can CC. You have Misfortune that provides so much zone control and so much damage, and it essentially forces you to leave an area whether you want to or not, right? If you get to a dragon first, and MF, if the MF team is coming up, they're rolling up and they're right behind you. Like they can just force you to leave your really great positioning with an MF ult, right? And you'll take a lot of damage. You'll eat at least a couple waves. So it's one of those picks that has just been it's super easy to execute. It's hard to mess up. It's very positioning based, with most AD carries should have that ability to do. I would hope if you're playing an ADC.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing I always worry about is like making sure get you good positioning, make sure everything's good, make sure you have a protected person like Leona, which I think the Echo is a great pickup too because it's a good flex. You can throw him in jungle or mid, depending on the style that the players play. And we have a Graves. Oh no, the Titan himself is back in the game. I don't. How do you feel about him being in top lane or I see anything but jungle right now? How do you feel about that?
I think it's always a pretty contentious point when you have somebody that's like Riot designed specifically for a certain role that gets thrown somewhere else, right? I mean, we've had supports go in the top lane, we've had junglers go mid, and all this vice versa stuff. I think it's nice. I do think it's interesting because generally most of the time they just abuse like one build or one very specific play style. And that can be kind of toxic to the game in the sense of like it can warp how the game plays, right? Where we saw, like, if you guys remember, Kleptomancy ranged top laners, right? Where they would take like it would be like a Zillion or a Soraka or a John on top. Like that was really bad for the game. But I think Graves being in the top lane is completely fine. He plays like a bruiser. He's a marksman that plays like a bruiser, so I'm okay with it. Oh. This might be going jungle, though, actually, because we see the Ornn being locked in for the top lane.
It could be mid.
Oh, that's true.
It could be mid. So we have to see if they pick up a mid laner, and then we'll know it's jungle. Okay, Trundle, perfect. Like, takes away Ornn immediately with Subjugate. And the Graves, too, if he ever gets in a brawl with Graves. So I think that's perfect. What do they choose, though, now? I guess is this
Yeah.
going to be?
They need their top laner, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming
they
top.
need their top laner. Unless the Trundle is picked into the Ornn as a top counter, right? I mean, Trundle's really good as long as there's one tank. Trundle's really good as long as there's one tank. I hate when teams. Are you gonna learn this about me, Gygatron? I hate when teams pick Trundle when there's like nothing to subjugate. All right.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's like always the worst. It's like, why are you just taking stats away? I mean, sure, you got squishies like Nami and MF there, but what more stats are you taking away other than you're just regaining health? Like,
yeah. And so getting it picked into the Ornn is really nice. You can also do some really wacky shenanigans. With Ornn, if he charges, you can pillar early, so he has to hit that instead. So you can really interrupt his combo. You can interrupt his ultimate with a pillar, right? Because if he goes for the dash, you can E him, and then it'll mess up his Ornn horn. There's a lot of intricate interactions you can have with a lot of these champions. Trundle is one of those champions that, you really can tell who's like a good who's a good Trundle player from like a great Trundle player. It's a weird thing to say, right? Because he's such like a basic kit. But just the way these Trundle players use their pillar, the way they use their E, like just the positioning of it, really separates the good from the great, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at it too. Like we have Set in Cassie that got picked up. I mean, Set's still a good one to kind of interrupt the Ornn. I agree though. Like there's a lot of Trundle players you can tell, especially if they're jungle, based on their clear speed, how good their clear speed is. Because then that shows that even though yes, it's a very simple kit, then it also states how well they know the champion and like when's the perfect time to gank, when's the perfect time just to farm and stuff like that. Just because again, I mean, I know that's just a mechanical thing, of course, too, but the Trundle like is very much feast or famine. Like, kind of like the Zen. Like, if you do not get kills early, you are, like, out of luck. Because you're going to fall off after a while. Like, yes, is subjugate always good throughout the whole game? Yes. But, if you don't have everything kind of going for where it's, what's the wording I'm looking for?
He's not, like, snowballing or...
Yeah, if he's not snowballing, like, he just doesn't do anything, it seems like. So it's like, maybe he'll weaken like Ornn, like kind of a thing, or the Graves, if he's especially getting tanky, so that Set can like pile through him, or plow through him, no problem. Same thing with Echo, but I don't know. It'll be interesting.
He becomes kind of like a meatball, right? Like a stat meatball is what just got Trundle if he's kind of behind, right? He'll subjugate the Ornn. That's cool for like 6 to 8 seconds. Yeah. He'll have all his stats, and then after that, like, he gets kited so easily, especially into this composition, right? You have the Cassiopeia putting down the miasma and the W and the R. You have Graves, who's going to be dashing around pretty frequently. Like, really the only people you can try to get to, unless this Nami is caught with her pants down, like, she'll be peeling Trundle off with Wave, with Bubble. You can also give Misfortune the kiting tools as well with Nami's E, like Tidecaller's Blessing. So it's going to be interesting how Trundle gets onto some of the other squishier members of the team, right? He really needs to be setting himself up with Pillar, setting his team up with Pillar, and then allowing Leona to really follow up after that, right? I think the combo is it's Pillar into Solar Flare, into Zenith Blade, into Leona Q, and you're going to be locked down for a minimum 3 to 4 seconds, right? And then you have Echo and everybody else piling on the damage, but it seems like Maria's Dungeon just has the better team fight, or 5v5 overall. Like, fighting into Cass Graves is kind of hard to do, and I feel like Mintheys' composition is just, we're gonna go forward, we're gonna click forward, we're gonna dash into you, we're gonna flank with Trundle, we're gonna flank with Echo, we're gonna be flanking with Set, and hopefully getting a massive Ornn ultimate or a Set, ultimate that with Ornn onto your backline. Yeah, getting a massive showstopper onto the backline. But Cassiopeia press R's and she kind of negates everything right there. Nami presses R, she negates everything, and then now what do? Maria's Dungeon has the damage to flip it around. Their counter punch is really strong. Like it's really just, I think it's like the expression or the analogy I would give, it's like a baseball and a baseball glove, right? Like Mintheys is like a 90 mile an hour fastball, and Maria's Dungeon is just like a big mitt that needs to catch everything and then return it.
Yeah, they need to have hands, because if they don't have hands, they catch it. But I agree too. I mean, the Cassie, is also a really good pick too, just because she's been really prevalent, probably in the last 8 patches. where she's been in at least some lane, whether it's bottom, top, or mid, being kind of that pressure. Obviously, she's very flavor pick a lot of times and everything like that when it's going into any other lane besides mid. But yeah, I mean, the perfect thing is she has miasma, which means then Set can't showstop her because it's a movement thing. Echo can't go in with his E because, again, it's a movement thing. Which should also stop Zenith Blade, if I remember correctly, as well, too. So I think that's like a perfect thing of like setting up for the Ornn in team fights, because Ornhorn should automatically then come through if no one can flank him. But we have flank team, so it's definitely going to be really interesting to see what they try to do there.
Yeah, I definitely expect the Mintheys to play a little bit, I wouldn't say dirty, but definitely guerrilla warfare kind of tactics, right? You'll see Echo somewhere in the back. You'll see Set TPing from the flank, and then you'll have like Lucian, Leona, and Trundle posturing up as like a 3-man stack, just like trying to keep their attention, trying to divert Maria's Dungeon's attention away from the flankers, right? So it'll be really important where Maria's Dungeon wards, if they have, blue trinkets, if they have red wards or control wards out, like they really need to pay attention to their sides, to their flanks and everything, because one flank from Set or one flank from Echo can just like ruin Maria's whole composition, right? It hits, if a stun hits on the Graves or a stun hits on the Misfortune, it becomes really, really hard to try to win that fight afterwards, because Cassiopeia needs a lot of time to scale, right? She's one of those classic like hyper scaling mid laners, more so than any of the other ones, I would say, right? Because she has to forego boots, so she can go like full 6 damage item.
True, and that's the one thing I think people like forget about too. Like I just thought about it, I'm like, man, she can like go full burst because she doesn't have to worry about boots. She can do so much more things than others, because again, most champions still have to have boots, unless you're Mundo, who's just selling all his boots to whoever and doesn't need it. Then sure, that's completely different too. But at this point, I know we are ticking down with spectator delay. I'm gonna go with just quick picks. I think you stated you're leaning towards Maria's, right? Are you leaning towards Mintheys?
Yeah.
You don't have to explain. Just we'll explain the game, of course. Why we think.
Yeah. I think Maria's right now has it for me, composition wise.
Okay. I'm leaning towards Maria's too. I like Mintheys that little bit there, but I think Maria's is a lot more, I feel like, easier to execute. But in this meantime, we are going to send ourselves to break here, so we will be back shortly once the spectator delay ticks down for this game 1 of the quarterfinals here. We'll see you guys soon.
This ain't where the legends come from. You know what a hero looks like. Pretty little flower, won't you sit back down and go play nice? So keep talking, keep laughing. One day you'll wish you had doubts under the ground. Then they're gonna watch you step over the ashes. Right now I'm taking my turn with the matches. 'Cause if I gotta burn it all down, then we'll burn it all down. My oh my, look at the lines so bigger this year. And if I gotta break it all down, then let's break it all down. Fly with fire and we'll burn it all down.
And let me know.
Yep. We're going to be live right now. And alrighty. We are back for game 1 of the semifinals for Black Twitch League. It's going to be Mintheys versus Maria's Dungeon. I kind of like that still, like a 5-point. I don't know about you. I'm always spicy where I like the 5-man, but I don't know.
So, I don't know. My theory is that in any kind of quarterfinals match or any tournament matches, right, and best of 3s, best of 5s, whatever you want to call it, both teams always start out with a 5-point defense, right? They're all super scared, or they got nerves. They're trying to like test the waters. It's games 2 and 3 when I start seeing like the 5-stack in the river bush or the 5-man invade through mid. That's where I start, seeing these teams really like spice it up a little bit. I mean, both teams don't have the best, level 1s, right? Like you have Nami Bubble and then you have like Leona Zenith Blade, and that's kind of it. I would say that Trundle, like Set, and Echo are kind of just, they don't say throw out their ability, they're just kind of like autoing you. Whereas like Lucian can still, Lucian still has a lot of his abilities, can Q or E or can get a couple extra autos off, but Misfortune as well. Right, she can get those empowered auto attacks from her passive if she hits a different target. Cassiopeia level 1 is laughable, so I get it why both teams just want to start standard. As we see, both junglers starting on the bottom side, so they're both going to get leashes from their bottom side jungle. Looks like Adam Suki's actually going to go for a buff Gromp. Going to hit that level 3 super fast, while I'm going to say Zeppo. I'm going to say Zeppo on the Graves is going to go for a more traditional clear.
We got a really good engage coming in right now. Xenoblade going in on Seal Lady and... Or Seal Lady. I don't know how I'm going to pronounce that. But
Soul, like
Soul.
Rhea Soul, yes.
Okay. As I thought it was Soul like that, but... yeah, so just really good engage coming out from Gabe. Gabe just going real hard, real fast. They got the level 2 going on. Same as Echo.
Yeah, Nick Swantek trying to abuse that level 1 cast, but now she's level 2. Now once she gets the Q and the E, she's going to run you down with those Twin Fangs. Opting in for the phase rush as well as Chandler Clark going in.
Yeah, I mean, they're going in, but
Nothing
happens with that. We got our Wet Noodle top fight going on right here. Fishing Frenzy and TJ Lean here, so yeah. Nothing more I expect there. We got Make It Rain going down here in the bot lane, but it's just that good old slow poke. Not doing anything.
Looks like TJ's getting the better of this matchup, at least in the beginning, right? It is really hard to start trading with that set because he has that passive regen, you know, that when he gets super low, he has the auto resets. He can just pull Ornn like that.
Yeah, oh my god, he's just doing so much. Haymaker comes out, too, and again, it's not a super powerful Haymaker there, but still, a lot of damage still coming out on it. Right. Yeah, this is still, Oro could be okay because, again, he just sits on tower, gets the farm, does grasp. Ooh, good job there, avoiding that. Oh, but you still took a true damage shot from the Haymaker.
Yeah, it always feels like when you've outplayed or figured out set, he just pulls out something else from his hat. He's just kind of like, oh yeah, so you blocked my pull. Well, I still have all this true damage as Zeppo is going to go for the gank. TJ Laner is probably dead here.
Yeah, Zeppo's going in and get the charge coming out with the Obelisk. But he uses the Haymaker back, trying to stay alive. But unfortunately, First Blood is going to go over to Zeppo.
Zeppo. It's our boy. We normally refer to him as Expo Logistics Company around here. Expo been playing BTL for like since season 2. He's definitely a seasoned veteran around here. We've known him for like ever, and he's always been like close to MVP on it. He's always a very entertaining player to watch. From playing, he's played everything from jungle to mid to ADC, and he's always just been like a high elo, like he won like our 1v1 tournament with like 32 players in it like twice in a row. He's always a very mechanical player, so interesting to see. He usually comes through and tries to carry for them through the jungle, so that's some background on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, you always want to have that though. Oh, we are going to say Adam Suki coming in. Xenoblade comes out, and we're going to have the stun coming on to Seol, and Seol unfortunately is going to fall here due to the double shots. But we do see the lovely cone come out on the Riev there, and unfortunately, nothing else is going to happen.
But good job. Nami gets taken into quick work. That's from that flash being blown earlier into the lane, right around the 2-minute mark. You know, they're probably just calling Adam Suki over. It's like, yo, this guy probably doesn't have sums. Burned flash. It's an easy gank here.
Oh, but we're having more going on right now. Adam Suki's getting real low. Exposed coming in, doing a lot of damage. Gonna be Ozma comes out right now, and Twin Fangs just keep pouring right now onto them, and unfortunately, you're gonna see Gabe fall down.
Yeah, Gabe's dies for the sins of his jungler. Adam Suki pretty much starts the dragon by himself. Doesn't call his bot lane over. Doesn't get any help from the mid. Didn't even know if they had mid prio there. And you know, Adam Suki doesn't lose his life. He still gets the jungle. Still gets to keep that quote-unquote tempo going. But definitely going to hurt right now because Misfortune gets a kill. Graves got a kill now. And those are two of the members you really want stacking kills. Because at the end of the day, Cassiopeia is just going to want to farm. She's going to want to get her items. Getting a kill in her pocket is nice, but if you get it onto someone like Misfortune, you get on someone to Graves, you get their item breakpoint so much sooner, right? That 1 to 2 item spike that they get, whether they're going Kraken, whether Graves is going Ghostblade into lethality, or she's going for that more, you know, Noon Quiver build where he goes into the Immortal Shield Bow. It's so much nicer when you get those early kills.
Oh yeah, it's always nicer. Sorry, I'm editing things in the meantime. But yes, early kills, especially onto Graves and MF, is needed. Just because if MF, depending on the style that she's going, gets more of that burst out sooner and faster, yes. Because there's always a crit build, you go lethality. I feel like it's always kind of flavor the match. Because in reality, nice double off right there. You can really kind of go either way. But with Comet, I'm assuming she's going lethality.
Yeah, MF Comet just provides that extra poke, that extra lane push as well. She even opted in for the Doran's Ring start just so he can get that little extra mana. Swantek's getting run down right now.
He is getting run down with this miasma going on with Twin Fangs, and there's so much you can do. But Expo here is getting caught with the pillar. Set is still going in. He's going to do so much damage, but unfortunately, Haymaker's not charged up with the Gray health there on the bottom. So Grays will get away easily, but has to burn a flash, which is okay. It's there for a reason. Yeah, it's a consolation prize. It's there for a reason. So good he won't have it anymore.
Yeah, but I try to understand what Nick Swantek was trying to do there. He was trying to get his ultimate shadow to in the W bubble, right? So he could stun up Sweetie Pie. But it's just a little too late. Just gets ran down with the Twin Fangs, and I'm going to assume Nick Swantek's going to be traversing this lane a little bit more carefully now. Not going to be eating into her. Not going to be trying to get all these crazy combos off because you saw what happened.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, that's always the problem is, trying to make sure kind of okay, what's the best way to get everything off, but also not lose so much in the process. And this is where I think the Cassie is still a great pick. Coming out from Maria's just because of the fact that it really stops the Echo from getting away. Same thing with Chandler. If Chandler comes into a fight and Miasma's on him, he's not gonna be able to E out. He can't put himself in a better position. So again, I really think this is a really great pick that they picked up, and I mean it's performing well. So Sweetie Pie is doing good.
Yeah, and obviously a kill under their belt feels nice. Cassiopeia just really wants to scale, really wants to get that laning. As long as she gets a smooth laning phase going where she's pretty much uninterrupted, she's gonna outscale most of the roster in League of Legends, right? Except for maybe Vayne, Jinx, some of these AD, or even Kog'Maw, right? But as an AP carry, she's gonna be putting a lot of work around that 35, even 30 to 35 minute mark, where she's gonna be on that 3 to 4 items. As Zeppo is here.
Yeah, Zeppo is here, but Set's going to use the showstopper to get out. He's going to use the Haymaker on the Fishing Frenzy, but is going to get dodged away because, unfortunately, you do have the Ornhorn coming in, and that knockup is just too good. So, unfortunately, Set trades his life, and another kill goes over to Expo.
Yeah, and he's just been doing a really good job shadowing his laners. I mean, he is 2-0-1, but he's been a lot more active than that, right? I mean, he's been super efficient.
Oh, but we're going to see Solarfire comes out. Unfortunately, not much is going to come out. Culling is being used. A lot of damage coming out of them, but they're only going to sit about half health, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah, Nami's going to heal all that back up pretty soon with a couple more Ws. It feels like Adam Suki's kind of just forced to do something, right? Because Zeppo or Expo is in that top lane, he gets a gank off. Now you have that pressure okay, I need to do something else on the map. And forcing that Solar Flare. Ooh, a Swantek.
Swantek is going to have to use the Chrono Break there. But we do have... Adam Suki's here. I don't know what... Why Direction was putting us around this way, but... We're going to have Pillar come out, try to pin him there around the corner, but unfortunately it doesn't happen. You're going to see the smoke screen come out from Expo. Expo is going to get all these quick autos in. We do see the red smite coming out from Adamsuki, but Adamsuki is going to be able to trade so much harder. Jeez. Woo.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you don't want a piece of that guy.
No.
He wants those. He loves those. You saw the challenging smite go down. You saw the subjugate, and you saw the press the attack going down. I don't think Zeppo is expecting that damage.
No, definitely not. But at least this time around, he does have his bot lane here for the Dragon. They do have that Prio, so it's good at least now. He won't be doing some sins again this time around on the Drake. But yeah, just like you said, Suki was able to just do so much. And this is why Charles good. Again, because if Charles could have been put top, done really well in the Fishing Frenzy with the Orin there. Does well in the jungle because of ganks. I think what would have been nice is if they could get Seol and Riev to be pushed out that little bit more, so then they could get more of that perfect Solar Flare and Pillar. So then that way, he's setting up traffic and making sure you can't get out. So, I don't know about you though.
Yeah, they pick up a lot after that little skirmish in the Midland, right? They got the Rift Herald, they got the...
Oh no, we're
gonna...
I don't know if you again. Expo's getting burned down Solar Flare with Zenith Blade, and man, it's like he's just trying to jump in and do as much as possible. We get the TP from Set. Set is using the Showstopper right into the MF, and MF will fall here. Good bubble coming out from Teal right now, but yeah, both TPs burned from the top lane, and yeah, I mean,
looks
really good for them right now coming for Mintheys.
Yeah, that became hectic really fast, right? It was 1 second. It was a couple of these guys just chilling in bot lane. You saw Expo in the jungle or in the try just waiting.
Being used we got the prison coming out right now on the Swantek. Swantek uses the Chrono Break. You have Set here coming in. Does the Face Breaker into the Haymaker, and yeah, it just gets that.
Yeah, mid lane turret's gone as well. First turret gold, plates going in. Mintheys, they were, what, 1-4 right now was the box score, maybe 3 minutes ago, and they've just kind of turned this game on its head. About a 2.5k gold lead coming out for Mintheys here, and what was looking bleak, Trundle's 2-0-2, the Lucian's got his Kraken Slayer ready, and you know, it looks like Mintheys is just ready to fight and scrap at any objective.
Yeah, and that's what they want. Like you said, they are the kind of flanking, go all in style, whereas you have more of that kind of burst, kind of being able to trade out and get that kite ability, and being able to still provide a lot of CC coming out of Maria's. But I mean, it's just really dependent on how it's performed. And even though they were able to get those TPs to come down, they had a 4v4 going on. Fortunately, that 4v4 didn't go well. I mean, look at Set right now. Set's taking a lot of damage and still was putting out decent back. Of course, you know, it's Ornn. Ornn Brittle does way too much, in my opinion. And you do have your lovely Expo trying to do the logistics here and maybe get a kill. But
I like that. I like that. Doing the logistics, trying to get a kill here, trying to get something. Oh, but
Sweetie Pie, you're getting bursted down right now. You had the perfect plan to get over, but unfortunately, Nick Swantek has that flash, able to use the Q, and you just fall down. I mean, it's rough. I mean, this is why it's good on two sides. Oh no, you get the perfect cone coming out from Trundle right now, and Suki trying to use as much as possible to subjugate, but has to let him get away because, unfortunately, Fishing Frenzy could burst him down pretty well. Look at that knockup coming in right now. And yeah, just look at that. I mean, even with a challenging spite, he's still doing...
Fishing Frenzy has to flash here.
Yeah.
Right? Oh.
Well, no, he's just going to get Showstoppered back. Facebreaker was used. Haymaker went wide, but you get the bite coming out now from Enamsuki.
Oh,
that guy's got some. He's got some choppers.
But we ain't done yet. Oh, okay, I guess we're done because Cullen came out.
No,
double shots are coming out. Oh, Zoidfire came out too, and we have the gank also with the flank coming out from Nick Swantek.
Yeah, beautiful double kill pickup for him. 3-1-1, and now since that mid lane tower is broken, he can just walk top, walk bot with impunity. He can just go wherever he pleases and gank whoever he wants, right? Because
I mean,
Sweetie Pie has to catch those waves. Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter if he's Mundo. I was channel a card. Oh, TP's coming out.
Yeah, we got the TP coming down here from Nick Swantek, but again, it's just to kind of ward off that Graves there, making sure Expo has to go back to doing his taxes or something. I mean, clearly things are not working out. I mean, we were told that, hey, he's kind of that playmaker and everything. I see a lot of it. He's trying to do stuff. He's trying to get his top laner fed more, but I think he needs to focus more on his mid or his bot right now, just because those are usually more your playmaker styles. If you play Ornn well enough or know the matchup well enough, you can usually just sit on tower, still farm, and be fine, even all the way up to like right now. So, but again, I know, hey, you know what? Create pressure as much as possible on Set. Set is a monstrosity, so we do see our dragon dancing here. Oh, we do see Nick Swantek comes in with the Hextech Proto Belt, but Sweetie Pie with the Miasma coming out. Oh, and she used the Petrified Gaze, but she's just getting stunned and burned down by Chandler. Oh my god. Well, that comes out right now. We are going to see the wave go onto Enamsuki, And Suzuki's going to get burned down, especially with the bounce of the heel. Ornhorn comes down, goes wide. But
TJ
Lanier with the flank. He does have Showstopper, so he can throw in. Does the haymaker, or facebreaker, haymaker coming out right now. He's looking for the perfect Showstopper like this. And look at that damage coming out. But, oh my god, the calling just doing so much. Those double shots. Zeta Blade coming in great for them. And, okay, you know what? She gets away with the bubble. It's fine. You're going to see bot lane here take the dragon for Minthey. And yeah, this is great. I mean, look at this. They're up 13-6. You got, what, a 6K gold lead right now? Woo!
Ooh, yeah, just about 6K. Got the Infernal Drakes in their pocket as well. 2 more, and they'll have the Infernal Soul. And it'll be a little late. It'll be about a 27-minute Infernal Soul if they can pick up 2 more. But, yeah, they look like they're having firm control of this game. And we were talking about it earlier in the Jam Select, right? Can they get the flanks off? Can they burst somebody out? Can they find somebody out of position? And in that fight, Sweetie Pie looked like, you know, she was going to get the Miasma off. She was going to get the Petrifying Gaze and just do a whole lot of damage. But Nick Swantek was able to use his ultimate recall and get a whole bunch of damage with the Electrocute going off. And it looks like Channel Clark also followed up. That duo of burst damage with Lucian and Echo is so disgusting.
Yeah, and it's kind of the thing with, like, their comp is, like, Echo's really good with the bursts. You have Trundle, who, again, could just subjugate and still chop pretty hard on the people. You have Chandler, who also just with the double shots as well as the calling just came in at perfect times with that. So, again, they're playing their comp very well.
Yeah, you also have Leona on top of that, just applying that her passive, right? I believe it's Daybreak or Sunlight or something like that. Just adds that little extra punch. And every point of damage matters when you're playing Minthey's composition, right? You have to be able to maximize and squeeze out as much as you can, because that's the difference between winning and losing a fight against a team like Graves, Misfortune, Nami, and Cassiopeia. Because if they're allowed to live after all that burst, they can just re-enter these fights. You know, the rest of their team can counterpunch, and you pretty much have nothing because you've blown your load.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, you know, when you use all your abilities, unfortunately, it's just how much you can do. But I mean, this is really rough for Fishing Frenzy here, because you got 2 up here trying to take down your turret as much as, oh, there comes in the Showstopper with the Facebreaker. Warhorn's going to come out because he has 3 here. Knockup going in onto the set. Bullet time is coming out, and set is going to fall. But unfortunately, so does the tower.
Yeah, and the tower's got a bit of a buff.
Oh,
Swantek.
Nick? Maybe? Ooh, I thought he was going to go back in, but he's not going to use the Chrono Break.
Yeah, I think he just realized that his top lane died and probably doesn't want to give up another kill. But yeah, the tower gold actually got buffed a couple patches ago, where the local gold is a little bit more. So it's a bit more valuable in that sense. Even if you die, you still get quite a bit of gold back from those tier 2s specifically. So it's about an even trade. I don't believe he had a shutdown on him. He is 1-4-5, but the way League works, like, you could be like 0-7 and have a shutdown if you have enough farm. So it can get a little wonky. The real big bounties are on Echo and Lucian, though, not surprisingly, because they've just been putting in a lot of work. 5-1-1. Hextech Proto Belt, Nashor's Tooth. Opting in for the Nashor's Tooth second, that is more damage, but I think I would have liked to see the Zanya second, just for that survivability, because you provide so much of a threat. If you can also Zanya's and you can just wait that much more on your ultimate, right? You can wait your ability cooldowns down, right? If you use the EQW, if that's a Zanya, that's another rotation of your abilities you can save and potentially burst out another character.
True, and that's the thing is, like, okay, maybe he's thinking, you know, because they were doing a lot more of the skirmishes, he wasn't getting a lot of those stacks, so maybe he opted and was like, you know what, let's do this. Facebreaker's gonna go a little short there. Riev getting some good poke on a set, but it's also Set's going to regen pretty easily. You know, he does have the Gore Drinker. Gore Drinker did get that nerf, unfortunately. I don't know how you feel about it.
I like it. I was playing Xin Zhao Jarvan like every game in the jungle. I wanted to like blow my brains out. So I'm glad to see some more diversity. I'm glad to see that I don't have to play those 2 champions all the time. But the dragon is coming up in 55 seconds. TJ Lanier getting some ab crunches going, but it looks like Mintheys is setting up for that dragon. They do have to clear some of the wards around here. They don't see that red ward placed in that little nook and cranny near the opening of the red side or the blue side. The red team's blue side jungle.
Nope.
Sorry.
It's a mouthful, right? Just trying to remember all of that. Yeah, I mean, you've seen me already get tongue-tied with stuff, too. So, yeah, we do have a TP coming in now from Ornn. Yes, I was going to say maybe Sweetie, but Sweetie's already there. So, we're going to have a 5v5 most likely here at this dragon. Oh.
They know he's lurking around. Like, they see him. But that's just the amount of respect that he commands, right? It is so scary. Because once you see a set on your flank, it's like, okay, well, if we pushed in too deep, he's just gonna body slam us. He's gonna RKO us out of nowhere, and then that's gonna hurt. So
right, and he's pushing the mid lane right now too.
Yeah, he's got that flank.
All right, but we see Ornhorn comes out right now. Leona's going in. She does use a Zenith Blade, but she is going to fall really quickly. Set didn't come here quick enough, but he does get his auto reset right now. Thrusting Frenzy is getting whittled down. Chased out here. Does get chopped. We're going to go back to mid here, and oh my, look at that burst coming out from Lucian and Echo. And yeah, they're going to be able to possibly get on there. Oh, no. Maybe Nick does.
Oh,
Nick?
Swantek is chasing.
He's just going to opt to just take the jungle CS. Okay, they see that Expo is taking the red, so Chandler comes up. So is Nick Swantek. He can get... Oh, 3 bursts maybe. Oh, no, he gets bubbled! Oh, no, and there comes the shield bow proc. Man, oh, and the double hits coming out from him. Oh, my God. So much damage.
Yeah, if you're Adam Suki there, you're like, well, we just lost Baron because you guys chased for a red buff. They'll be able to burst this down. They have Cassiopeia, they have Graves, Misfortune is coming in as well. This Baron is gonna be Maria's Dungeon. There's no contest. I don't think Trundle can walk in. He doesn't have flash either.
No, but they did pull him off by pulling the Leona up there, and you do get a TP out of set, so that's still good. They do have the charge going, but it's going to go wide because he wasn't close enough to it. But Ornhart is coming out. Facebreaker used the perfect timing to make sure it can't be used, but he is going to fall here in this short little time. And, man,
yeah,
Baron's looking to be done.
Baron.
Yeah, they're looking at Baron, but unfortunately...
Now there's 4 members.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that was the right play, peeling off a Baron for a Trundle set and Leona, because now you have...
Oh, well, never mind! So you guys burst down real quick. Calling is used right now on there, and bullet time does come out, but... Oh my God, Nick comes in with so much damage. And, yeah, we're going to have the Baron be leashed at half health, and now it's going to go over to Minthey.
Yeah, I think the turning point was peeling off of Baron for that Leona set and Trundle. I feel like you can just burst Baron down because you have the Cassiopeia, she has the Leanders, you got Graves hitting it. Misfortune was nearly there, right? She was pretty much at the Baron almost. Like, I think she was around the red buff area. I think they could have bursted it down. They didn't have any threat of 50-50 because Trundle had no way of walking in. You have Nami peel, and you take the Baron, and then you peel off. But instead, they try to go for the kills. They only lose, Mintheys only lose 1, and then Lucian and Echo are back up, the 2 most damaging members.
No, Ornor is going to be used. Expo is doing a lot of damage. Shield does get proc, but the Zodius is used, so he avoids so much damage there. Of course, he does fall. But good use of the Zodius.
Gets the turret as well on the top, so that inhibitor is cracked at the top lane, and now I expect Mintheys to start executing this 1-3-1, right? They got Set in a side lane, they can get Echo in a side lane. You can see how much damage he does. That man is he's on the components. He wants that death cap sooner rather than later. He's pretty much on 3 and 75% of his items. You also have Lucian sitting on 3 items. If they can get this 1-3-1 going, I don't know what Maria's Dungeons can really do about it.
Yeah. They really can't do too much, honestly. I think right now, just because of the fact that they really, other than this, they need to stop the Dragon Soul, which is coming up in 2 minutes, and just try to get more of those going towards them. The next Baron that does come up would be helpful, but oh no, they're going to go on a TJ lane here. Solar Flare is used. You're going to see Make It Rain come out to slow him down, but Facebreaker is used. Haymaker coming out right now with a big hit. Oh my, Showstopper is going to be used. Gorgebreaker is also swept in. Gone. Unfortunately, he's just not able to do much. But oh my, double shot baby coming out from Chandler. Chandler unfortunately is going to fall because he gets the slow coming out from 2 abilities. And oh, Challenging Spike is going to be used onto MF here and goes down. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Nick Swantek is just one of those sticky people that, especially when you have another sticky champion like Leona here, you're just going to fall.
Yeah, a lot stickier than my socks, so he's going to be able to get on to the enemy team. Take the 2 inhibs in the mid and the top lane. They're probably going to pick up that bot lane as well. Dragon's coming up in 55 seconds. They're going to look for the reset. They're going to spend their gold, and they're going to get this Dragon Soul pretty much uncontested because Maria's Dungeon, they got to deal with these super minions.
Yeah, they got to deal with it. And you have to look at, they still have Baron for that a little bit longer. So anytime they're in a side lane, it's just going to be able to push more. They can kind of invest in, like, okay, pushing out mid, pushing out the bot side, do a 4-1 push. And, yeah, I mean, it's going to be really detrimental to Maria's Dungeon. But they are clearing some wards out. They are spotting out the set. So hopefully they don't walk into a trap here, which they still might. Uh-oh.
Lanier's here. T-Rex arms.
Holy does get used, but... does a good amount of damage, but it's not like it's like overly shredding people right now. But we do see that Sweetie Pie has Banshee's Veil popped. Set flashes away, still gets knocked up for the Oran Horn, but we're gonna see Bolt Time being used on the side there onto Edamsuki. Edamsuki still alive, has Hysterics Gauge popped. Oh my, still going in right now onto Fishing Frenzy.
Mintheys are low. Their life bars are not that high.
No. But this is what we talked about. But there's the good flank on the Riev. And yeah,
that's the pick they need, and that dragon should be theirs. I don't think Graves can walk in. He might try to go for a miracle still, but he's just gonna back up. Giving over Infernal Soul, and you gotta believe we're gonna see the end of the game here very soon.
Yeah, and this is kind of where, okay, you see that the Dragon Soul was Infernal. Now you're just going to have so much damage coming out from all of them. They already do a lot in this process before that. So you have to think, okay, what's our next game plan then? Because you already look at it, it's a little chalked, unfortunately, for them. You got 2 inhibitors down. They're pushing down your bot side here as they get this turret. Probably going to pick up this next one and the inhibitor here shortly. So it's probably just figuring out, okay, what do we pick and ban this next time around onto them, and Orin looks like he's going to go in. Oh, no, he doesn't. But just everyone's getting so much damage put onto them. And, oh my, Expo. Going to be sent back to the factory to figure out what the heck just went wrong there. But, man, TG Lanier is really low. Hopefully they'll Make It Rain would have gotten him, but it's a little wide. A little short, I should say, actually. Ticking down onto him. And, yeah, this is just... how that comp you talked about, it's just really good coming out from Minthey.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing, right? I did like Maria's Dungeon's composition initially, right? In that pre-draft, I said if they could weather the storm, if they could, like I said, they're a giant baseball glove. If they can catch this 90-mile-an-hour fastball, they'll be fine. They'll scale into the mid-game to late game, and they'll be fine. But it looked like Minthey just kind of put the pedal to the metal and never stopped, right? It was that bottom lane skirmish. It was Nick Swantek diving bot lane. It was taking that mid. It looked like Maria's Dungeon had a bit of a control over the game in the first, 10 minutes, right? We were praising Expo on his proactiveness, his ability to get ganks off in the top lane, but very soon after, you just saw Glacial Mingos start turning up the pressure, and they were just everywhere, right? TJ Lanier was in the bot lane. He was in the mid lane. Suki was in bot. Suki was in top. Like, it was so hectic, and they never really stopped, I would say.
No, yeah, once they kind of got their groove going, they just been fast and furious and haven't stopped. I mean, that's the good thing about this comp is, again, if you can get a lot of your ganks going and get that snowball, I mean, you're just going to be in control for a lot of it, and this is what they've been doing well. It's a good pairing up between, again, you get the really good Leona support who can stun a lot of people there with a Solar Flare and her shield, and that's where it sets up really well for double shots coming out with Chandler. And
yeah, and you see Nick Swantek's build? Those weren't those items before, right?
No. Obviously, the man is trolling here because he knows they're winning. But you have the Ornor come out right now with the bullet time, does a lot of damage. Nick Swantek had to use the chrono break, but does fall. And now we're going to see Gabe get bursted down. So as much as you do see one Nexus turret comes down, and the other one is pretty much at, I don't know, I'd say less than 20%, maybe 15% at that point. We do have mid inhibitor coming up.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this Swantek build. I see what he's going for. He's going for the crit echo. Not something you see too often.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a little bit of item trolling here, but it looks like they're pretty confident that they're going to win this game. But I don't think they realize that Swantek was putting out a lot of the damage with his AP build. They're suffering now a little bit as he was going to lose that fight at the Nexus turrets there. Nexus turrets did get a little bit of an assist, but we're going to see if Echo... Okay, he went for the Amp Dome. He's got some AP.
Yeah.
Maybe he realized, all right, wait, guys, I need to build some AP. I was bursting out their MF. I was bursting out their cast. And now I do no damage because none of my abilities scale with AD.
True, and that's the thing is like, okay, you have no AD scaling. Again, still, even 3 hits, the third hit still is going to be pretty strong in the most part. You're assuming that the third hit is also going to crit. So, of course, if that ever happened, that's just a lot of bursts coming out. But, and with the fact that you really don't have a lot of crit damage right now, like if you look at it on him, crit chance even, like the crit chance is only
I don't think he's getting
20.
the IE. Yeah, he's not getting the IE passive, right? I think it's 60% crit. Is where you need it. As Gabe Kochki.
Yeah, and Gabe, oh my gosh, you got the Pillar coming out perfectly for the showstopper, and he's a Haymaker to get that extra shield, but everyone's backing up that little bit right now because I think they have to respect that Sweetie Pie can still do a fair amount of damage because of the fact that Nick Swantek is still doing this AD build coming out from Echo, but Expo uses the Ghost Blade, trying to see if he can get some good positioning to get in, but looks like he's just going to have to clear the wave.
Yeah, wonder if Maria Sanchez realized. Oh, Swantek.
He gets bursted down by 2 shots out of Expo here. Maybe he looked at the books there, figured out, you know what, this guy's got only AD, let's burst him down. And look at the Twin Fangs coming out right now on the Gabe. Gabe's going to get bursted down. Like, just really good job.
Get in there. The TP coming up from TJ Lanier.
Oh, no. So troll. He gets the turret, but is gonna fall. Oh my Haymaker! Unfortunately, falls, but kind of good still. I mean, you look at you got the Nexus turret. You got some damage on it. You know, it wasn't the worst use of TP. Very troll, but
wasn't the worst. I mean, he got the turret. He's gonna get the Nexus. Oh, and they're just looking to split push this. Oh, this is a classic Mintheys thing that they do. They split push you, and they will possibly lose Elder here.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Expo just has a lot of damage right now. A lot of crit coming out of him, too, so his autos are just doing way too much here. But he realizes, hey, you know what? There is the plant over the wall. Let me go take it away from Trundle here, because that means if he's going to go in, Suki would have to use his flash. And obviously he's not going to do that. Why take the risk? I mean, you already know your team comp's working well. We do see that Echo does go back to the AP build. Has a little bit of fun with the AD. And
he's not nearly going to hit as hard, though. He only has 2 items, as opposed to, I think he was leaning on 4 previously, right? He had the Proto Belt, Zanyas, Nashers, and the Rabbidoodles. Now he only has Proto Belt, Zanyas. He's still going to hurt, but he's not going to be hitting late game Echo that you would expect.
True, and he is looking to get that Lich Bane, it looks like right now, since he does have the Sheen and the Blasting Line and the starts of the extra component needed for
Aether Wisp? Is that what it's called?
I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm guessing.
I don't remember. It's a Wisp. I know that.
Oh yeah.
We usually don't see that item too often. Usually it just gets made later. It's the item.
Yeah. Usually just gets turned into the Lich Bane. You don't see a lot of people sitting on it. But the Elder Dragon did go over to Maria, so Mintheys do have to respect it. They can't just walk in and fight. There's no wards either for any of the Mintheys to TP to, right? All 3 inhibitors are up. Nexus is exposed, but with that, they can't really push in. This dragon that they took, the Elder, is a keep away Elder, as I like to call it. You can't really do much with it, but they can't really do anything to you. It's kind of just a stalemate.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stalemate, and I think the main thing that they're trying to do is trying to let this Elder Dragon just get burned down. But you're gonna see the Ornlord come out right now on Shannon Clark. It's busy. Oh my god, how did he not get? There you go. There's that extra damage that comes out from Expo there. And this is where Nick and TJ are doing actually really good. Trying to use that split push. Oh, no. You get the bullet time coming out. Nick has to use his chrono break. But unfortunately, the red buff is going to tick down and take him out. And so does, unfortunately, TJ Lanier there. Even though you're like, hey, you know what? This is really great. We're going to be fine and everything. And then you just have the poison damage come out with the twin fangs, and that's kind of all she wrote there for them.
This is very crucial right now because in that bottom lane push that happened, TJ Lanier did drop a ward, and Swantek did swap over the full AP build with the Lich Bane. He has the TP up. The Baron is going to go down, so they can recall, but I guarantee you, once they see at least 4 or 5 members into that mid lane, Swantek's going to go for the TP. He's going to take the bottom lane inhibitor, and he's going to try to take the inhibitor or the Nexus as well. I'm calling it now, Gygatron. This is what's going to happen.
It could be that. I mean, he could go for the X-Packet anyways, which is actually not using the TP and just try to run over there and go over the wall and do it. But I think he is going to use that TP. I think part of the problem, too, is even if you see 4, if you don't see Echo, Echo, or if you don't see TJ or Echo, you know they have TP. You know potentially there might be a ward in there. And now they're not even going to have really anyone play in the base. They think, hey, you know what? We have this lead already. We are coming back with the gold right now. We're only down 3k, down 3 kills. Again, we had the Elder Drake that did a lot of damage to this team because, again, they are playing more of that burst poke comp. So, I don't know.
If they double TP in, I think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
they're
double TP.
Oh, it's happening! It's happening!
We are going to have it happen. I'm going to pan over right now as we see that, okay, 1 TP was going to be used, but it does get stopped. Ornn can't come back now. So Sweetie Pie also not going to be able to use it either. And the game's over. Just really good heads up play, though.
Oh, no, they got
these. I have casted these boys one too many times. These are the shenanigans they like to pull, and I peered into my crystal ball, Gygatron. I went in. I was like, you know what? This is going to happen within the next 2 minutes. I saw the TPs. I saw the ward. Nobody sweeped it on the side of Maria's dungeon, and they got blindsided just like anybody else.
Yeah, they did. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing for them. That's the one thing you always have to think about is, okay, if we're in our base, we have sweepers, let's just try and just check it just in case. You know, we never know. Someone could drop a ward in at any point. The good thing was, again, like you said, Set did put that ward in there. They got a double TP, which means then no matter what, it was going off. So even if, say, they got closer to Echo and stopped him, Set was already going to be there. So it does punish them in that case. And then it also forces Fishing to TP out in the open, which they get stopped automatically. So by games. I don't know. Kind of why didn't it just have someone sitting in the back there just in case? But again, it was their decision. Looks like game 1 is going to go over to Minday, and I don't know. I'm interested to see how this game 2 goes.
Yeah, I mean, that game went on longer than it should have, right? Like, in reality...
Oh, they were having fun with it. Come on. That's why they did that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but, like, they could have ended that 10 minutes earlier, right? Echo went full AD. They didn't have to go for the split push. They didn't have to go for the style, but they ended up, giving us an exciting game, right? We're gonna get into game 2 very soon. We're gonna get into the draft. We're gonna go to a short break, right, Gygatron, as we're gonna get everything set up.
Yep.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.